In this video, I'm going to walk through the top 8 AI tools that you should be using as a real estate agent. And if you're not using these, you're simply just going to get left behind. Now, over the past 1 to 2 years, AI has really blown up and there's a lot of tools out there. There's a lot of good tools. There's a lot of great tools and a lot of, quite frankly, just useless tools. So it's really important to be able to kind of cut through the noise and know the difference between the ones that are actually going to get results and the ones that are just a waste of time. That's what we're going to walk through on this video, and at the end of the video I'm also going to give you a bonus one as well if you stick around, okay? First of all, this slideshow was built by AI in under 5 minutes, and so are the listing presentations that I'm going to show you in a second. What a lot of agents are doing wrong though with AI is that they're simply just typing into a box and they're taking the first answer. And a lot of agents and a lot of people nowadays are using ChatGPT, but quite frankly, ChatGPT is just the tip of the iceberg. And a lot of these agents and a lot of AIs, when you ask them a question, they'll search online and they'll just give you the answer that they think you're looking for, rather than actually understanding the question and pulling it from real world data, which is not what you want, right? It's like asking a stranger for a guess, and then you end up putting your name on it and you end up putting your license on that as well, okay? So the first tool that we're going to go through is Claude. Now, Claude is really good at building listing landing pages and listing presentations as well. And funnily enough, it also created this deck that you're looking at right now. So Claude is an AI, it's made from Anthropic. And what we're going to do, this is Claude, we're going to walk through how we can actually build a listing landing page. And obviously in this example, you would give it photos of the listing and more information about the listing, so it can do it with the actual photos that you provided, rather than what I'm going to do. I'm just going to make it up, so it'll just make up a random one based on like a random example. Okay, Claude, I want you to create me a listing presentation for a random property in Toronto. I want you to make up the images, pull some random images from online. This is just a simple demo of what you can do with yourself and creating listing presentations. Ask me any questions if you need on the design and what I want it to look like. And this is to be used to give to potential prospects and potential buyers for my seller client, and be able to really push the property and get it sold as quick as possible at the highest value. So I really want to showcase the features that are best of the property and also give the potential buyers more information about what the property is actually about as well. So what that's going to do, that's going to generate the HTML. It'll be a little presentation, and it will also ask me any questions if it feels like it needs to do so. So as you can see, it's asking me a couple of questions here. So it's asking, what format do you want it delivered in? So I'm going to have it as an interactive HTML page, which is what this is, because I like them designs rather than just having it as a PowerPoint. We could also have it as a PDF. So what I'm going to say instead is, can you create it as a HTML page and also a PDF, please, so I can see the two different examples. And then the design vibe, I'm just going to say, okay, I want you to just create two different designs with two different designs. So do one that's luxury and one that's clean and modern and white. Property type to invent. Yeah, let's just pick like a random $1 million to $1.5 million Canadian dollar property in Toronto, and yeah, just pull like a random luxury property and yeah, just generate it from there. So we'll see what it comes up with. So what it's doing right now is it's pulling loads of different images and loads of different, obviously this is just going to be random. This is just going to be just a random demo. Obviously, if you're doing this, you want to make sure that you're putting your listing photos in there and making sure that it's obviously custom to the listing that you've got. But right now it's just pulling loads of different images for a Toronto listing, which is from what I just mentioned here. So now it's found a property, a really nice luxury property here, and it's going to create it based on these. Obviously with you, you're going to have loads of different images of loads of different parts of the property, including the interior that you're going to want to include, and you can simply just copy and paste the images into the chat. So here we are, it's finished, and it's also created 2 different designs. So let's have a look at them. So this is the first design that it made. As you can see, pretty simple, pretty basic, because I didn't give it that much information. I just gave it a simple prompt, and I didn't give it any of like the images or anything. It just pulled it from like a random one. Obviously, once again with you, you're going to have all of this information to add on there. And let's have a look. Perfect. And it's also added the message, so you can have like message the agent on WhatsApp, or message Jessica, the real estate agent, or John, the real estate agent, on WhatsApp, right? There's another one they made. Same, you got the house, you got the rooms, you got the facts, you got the area, you got the costs, you got a full breakdown here, which is lovely. And then obviously the message the agent on WhatsApp. Pretty easy, pretty simple. You can share this with any buyers, and they can get all the information they need rather than having to message them every single time. So that's really good. And obviously if you show a seller this, and they're going to be very, very, very impressed that you've made all of this, but in reality it's only took you 5 to 10 minutes to actually do this. But yeah, perfect. Okay, so the second tool is Perplexity, and Perplexity is all about making sure that the information that you get is rock solid and accurate. Okay, so what Perplexity does is it pulls comps and neighborhood data, and then shows you the source where it pulled it from. So rather than just kind of guessing and pulling some information and just making half of it up, which is what ChatGPT and other AIs tend to do, Perplexity, it makes sure that it gives you the exact source as to where it pulled it from. Now, this is really good at pulling comps fast, neighborhood data, and actually preparing for appointments. So you don't have to spend 10, 20 minutes preparing for every listing or even buyer's appointment. You've got all the data there, and you don't need to just prep every single time, right? So let's have a look at what this looks like, and I'm going to show you how to use this. I'm currently doing a demonstration where I'm walking through the best ways to use AI, and I'm using you as a demonstration of how real estate agents in North America can use you to pull like comps, and make sure that they get the data on different properties. So let's just do an example here. Let's say I want you to pull comps for the southwest of Calgary. I want you to pull loads of different like properties, loads of different neighborhoods, and really break down everything, but make sure that you also provide the sources of where these properties are actually from, and all of like the data where the data that you pulled from is coming from as well. Make sure it's as accurate as possible, and provide it all in a table so I can see it all and it's easily presented. So we'll see what it'll come up with there, and we'll just leave it to do its thing. So as you can see, it's just done the output here. It's giving you a bit more context on the table itself, and then it's also giving the table that we requested. What's good about this as well is what you can do is you can just copy this, and then you can drop this into another AI that you're using, whether that's Claude or another AI tool that we mentioned in this video, and it'll give it context and give it the right context it needs, rather than just allowing it to hallucinate and just make up stuff. So for example, let's say you've got a listing presentation and you wanted to pull all of the information for that listing and all of the properties around it. You can also use Perplexity to get this information and then include it in the prompt that you give to Claude to make the HTML, okay? Now, this matters for a couple of reasons, because one wrong number in front of a seller is your problem. It's not OpenAI's, it's not your CRM's, it's yours and your license. So it's really important that if you are using AI to fast track this, that you don't just kind of speed things up by using like ChatGPT. You actually use an AI that's going to give you the source, and Perplexity is the best one for this. Now, the next one is ChatGPT's image tool, okay? This is really good for staging an empty room, cleaning out like bins off a driveway, and tidying a whole photo set. So it's around $20 a month. And yeah, it's good for like doing like virtual staging, removing clutter, and just cleaning like listing photos. Okay, so let's say you've got a listing photos and there's bins outside for when you took it. You can use ChatGPT image tool to clean this up. So how this will work in practice, I've just pulled a random image. Obviously, this will be like a listing photo that you've got. As you can see, there's a massive like container here. There's a lot of snow on the ground, and there's also like this light coming across here. So we want to clean this up. So the way we do this is obviously we just prompt the AI. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to say, can you make sure that in this video you remove, in this image, you move the blue big container, you remove the snow, and you remove the light that goes across the screen. Don't change images of the house itself. Keep the house the exact same. Enhance the image so it looks better and it's more ready for a listing. This is a property that I have as with a seller who's looking to sell it. I want to make it so it's really appealing for any buyers, and it looks like it's ready to move into. And then what we do, we paste that in, and then it's going to generate the image, and then give it a couple seconds, and then it'll generate the image, and hopefully it will have enhanced the image from there. Perfect. So it's just generated the image here. As you can see, it's just done it. Now let's say I say that I don't like that this tree doesn't have any leaves on it. What I can do is that I can just say, okay, I want you to make it so the tree has leaves on it, so it's like it's in autumn or summer. And yeah, can you remove some of the shadows as well so it looks a bit brighter and it's not as dark as well. Enhance the image a little bit more so the sun is facing on the house. Now obviously you need to be careful with this because you don't want to be doing it so you're misrepresenting the property. You want to make sure it is still the property, but it's just enhanced so it looks a little bit better, right? Perfect. So it's just generated what it would look like in summer. As you can see, it's much brighter. It's much better than the original image. So we've gone from this to this, from this, to this, right? So it's much brighter, it's much cleaner, and it's much better to actually have as a listing photo, right? You can also change the aspect ratios of this, so you can make it so it's a wider image, it's also a taller image. I would just be careful with that because sometimes it can hallucinate this house to the left of it. So, but yeah, you can also touch on that and edit that as well. Now, obviously, as an agent, as you know that when you are using these tools, when you're editing the listing photos, it's really important that you're using it to sell the property, not inventing a new one, because you know there's fine lines where if you like were to erase the pylon outside the window, that's misrepresentation. However, if you just to touch up the lighting and maybe move out some bins so it looks more like a dream property rather than a fake one, that's where you can use these tools. So it's important to mention this so you're not going to be getting your license taken off you because you're misrepresenting property. Okay. Now the next one is pretty niche, and it's called Opus Clips. So Opus Clips, if you don't know, what it does is it turns long form videos into short videos. So short videos for like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, right? And what it'll also do is it'll caption it, and it'll also rank the ones by how strong the hook is and what the ones are going to do the best on like social media and the platforms based on all the data that it's got, you see. So as you can see, this is what it looks like in practice, where you'll take a long form video, whether that's like a podcast or whether you've got a YouTube channel as an agent, and it'll cut it into loads of different clips based on what it'll think would perform the best in terms of the hooks. You know, if you talk about loads of different stuff on the podcast, then you can drop it into here, and you simply just drop the YouTube link or just like a video link or even just upload the video itself, and it'll do it within like 10 to 15 minutes depending on how long the video is, and get you 10 clips without needing an editor or anything, which is really, really, really handy. And I use it myself to distribute these YouTube videos to all of my platforms, so I don't have to edit, and it saves me a whole bunch of time. Okay, so the next one is Captions AI. Now, if you don't know what Captions AI is, it is similar to Opus Clips, but more kind of like the editor style of things. Okay, so let's say you've just recorded an ad, or you've just recorded a video that you want to put on social media. What you can do is you can come into Captions AI, and you can actually drag and drop your video in here. And what this will do is this will create an ad like this. I'm going to show you an example of what this looks like. And with Captions AI, what it will do is add captions, and it will also add little edits as well. So this is an example that I just came up with of an AI edit for like a B-roll edit of an agent in Toronto. And you can also do it with talking head as well, where you have yourself actually talking and then have it edit like different B-roll in there as well, which is much more effective as opposed to these. But let's give it a watch.
If you're paying over 2 grand a month in rent in the GTA, listen up. The math just changed. Mortgage rates have come down. Home prices are softer than they've been in years. And the new HST rebate is kicking in for first time buyers.
So as you can see, this is an example. Obviously, you can do your own voice. I just used an AI voice, and yeah, I just made this up in like 2 minutes. You can also give it like B-roll as well, and like examples of what you want the B-roll to look like, and all that good stuff as well. So it's really good to quickly edit your videos and add like, you know, captivating stuff like these like captions, and you can also edit them where necessary, and also like different like transitions like this. Now the next tool links to Captions AI, okay? So this is called 11 Labs. Now 11 Labs is really good for AI voiceovers and AI voice cloning, okay? So if you go into 11 Labs here, this is the tool that I used for the Captions AI. This is the one that I used for the voiceover for this. And honestly, 11 Labs is the leading tool for AI voiceovers, and it's used for different like AI voice agents and different like projects like this as well. So it's really handy. So this is what 11 Labs looks. As you can see, you've got loads of different tools here. You've got the voices where you can create your own voice and you can clone your own voice. You've got the studio, where this is where you can you know, generate like content of like videos and also images. I wouldn't really recommend using 11 Labs for this. However, it can still be used and it can still be useful as well. And yeah, there's loads of different stuff. You know, you got text to speech, where this is the one that I came up with, where you can do text to speech and it'll create a prompt and an actual example of this. Now, the next one is Claude and the Humanizer skill. Now, this is a really handy one, because essentially what this is the Humanizer skill is, I'm not sure if you've ever spoken to AI and you've asked it to create like a follow-up to send to like a buyer or even a seller, and the response that it gives looks like it's AI. It's very AI generated. There's no real like empathy in it, and it's just looks really generic. Okay, and this fixes this. So first of all, Claude, as opposed to ChatGPT, is a more of a personable model, and it's more of a human-like model in its responses. Okay. So what you can do is you can use Claude and also the Humanizer skill. And what this Humanizer skill does is it removes all of those, like, you know, the big dashes that you see in the responses of AI, and also like some of the jargon that they come up with. And it really allows you to have a more of a personable response to the lead. And we're going to see this in action, okay? So what I'm going to say, hey Claude, what I want you to do, I want you to use the Humanizer skill, and I want you to come up with a response that I can send to a buyer who is looking in the next 2 to 3 months. I don't want it to be pushy, I don't want it to be salesy, I want it to lead with value and give them like a quick market update of properties in Northwest Calgary. Let me know if you have any questions before doing this, but this is just a demo, so you can make it not generic, but you can just make up some information. And we'll see what it comes up with. Yeah, so this is the Humanizer skill. So if you go on github.com/blader/humanizer, and if you go on this and you just drop this into Claude and just say, can you install this skill? And it'll guide you through exactly what to do. So as you can see, it has come up with a response here. So let's see what it says. Canadian English, yep, sent as an email from the agent. Buyer is a Northwest Calgary lead who said 2 to 3 months. What above makes you above? Obviously, I generated. Yep, see, nothing you need to act on today. Like no human would really say that in a normal email. This is what it's come up with. So hi Daniel, you said 2 to 3 months. So I'm not gonna chase you. Just figured this might be worth knowing while you wait. Inventory in so and so area is up. 41 active detached listings last month across the two. Versus 28 in April. Obviously, you want to give it some more information on this so you can draft it up, right? You want to provide it. The more information you can give it, the more personable it's going to be, right? But this is going to be like the template. You're going to be able to use this to build the template. But as you can see, there's no EM dashes. There's no like weird punctuation or like weird like semicolons in the chat. So looks like a really nice email that you can send to the. And here's the thing: like every agent, they send the same email, okay? And they send the hi, I hope this finds you well. Or they use like automated emails that are sent out, which are good. And I'm not saying you shouldn't use that. But the agents who stand out are the agents who are going to use personal emails that actually give value to the person. And to be able to do this as quick as possible and without taking too much of your time, you can use tools like Claude with the humanizer skill, and it allow you to do it as quickly and efficiently as possible as well, without you having to go through and just edit every single response that the AI gives. So the next one is for recording appointments, okay? So there's 3 different tools here that you can use for this, and I'm going to walk through all of them. So Otter, what this is a tool that you can use to record like Zoom calls and also Google Meets. And not only that, you can also use it to record in-person listing appointments as well, okay? So what you can do is you can have it on your phone and you can record whilst you're there with a client. And what it's going to allow you to do is it's going to allow you to keep all your notes consolidated in one place. You're not having to, rewrite your notes up again. And it makes things way, way, way easier for you because you're not having to just constantly after every single time, write up your notes, right? So as you can see, this is Otter AI. You can have a look at this and, see all the features. Another tool as well is Granola and also Plord. So these are actual devices and these are for in-person meetings. So what you can do is you can actually buy, this is for Plord, where you can buy an in-person device that you take wherever you want, and then it'll actually record whenever you're having conversations, and then also use AI to transcribe everything and also give you a summary of your day and who you spoke to, who needs follow-up. And over time, like if you've been doing this for 60 to 90 days where you're recording every conversation, over time it'll have all of this data where you can see, okay, I've spoken to all of these people, and it'll actually be able to tell you when you need to follow up with this person based on the conversation that you had with them last. So it's really, really handy, and it's allowing you not really having to remember every single lead that you've got because the AI just does it for you and it listens to all of your conversations. Now, some people might not like that, but I mean, if you're like me and you want to always be efficient as possible, then it's definitely a handy tool. And the reason why this is the last one is because the recordings becomes the notes and the notes become the follow-up, right? So, the more data you have, the more you can personalize the follow-up with the leads, right? And you can even feed all of this data into your CRM or into an AI, and then you can import that data into your CRM for the specific leads, which would be really handy to allow your data to be as rich as possible and really enrich it as much as you possibly can as well. Now, the final one, I told you that there would be a bonus at the end. There is a bit of a caveat with this one, however, because now a lot of agents, I do see a lot of agents using HeyGen. And if you don't know what HeyGen is, it's basically an AI avatar of your face. So what it'll do is you'll send loads of videos of you talking and doing different facial expressions, and then it'll clone your face, and it allows you to then, create content, whether that's YouTube, or short form content like TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, and it allows you to push the content out. Now, this is good for just everyday creators, but for a real estate agent where your whole thing is that you're selling you as a person, if someone can tell that it's an AI, then you kind of lose the trust with that person, and it becomes across as a bit inauthentic. HeyGen is really a really, really good tool, and I imagine in the future, maybe in 6 to even 8 months down the line, it'll be way, way, way more accurate. However, there is still kind of some tells where you can tell it's AI, at least for like younger generations. But for the older generation, they definitely would not be able to tell this whatsoever. But yeah, look at Hagen at your own time, but also be wary of this because you don't want to, put this in place. Like, as you can tell, this is quite clearly AI, and if you've got a keen eye, you'll be able to tell. So just be wary with this. However, it is a really good tool, and as long as you let them know that it is AI. Now, this was kind of like a surface level list of AI tools that you can use as a real estate agent. For people who aren't that tech savvy, if you are more interested in, more advanced AI tools and how you can really integrate it within your systems, if you comment the word AI, I'll show you exactly what I use with my agency and how I leverage AI to make me work as efficient as possible, and obviously how you can integrate that with your real estate business as well.